Welcome to the Mental Health Book Club podcast with your hosts, Sydney Timmins and the Secret Psychiatrist. We would like to take this opportunity to let you know that we will be covering a diverse range of mental health topics that may be distressing to some listeners. You can find a full list of the topics being covered in our show notes. Please check the show notes before listening to any of our episodes. Welcome to the Mental Health Book Club podcast with your hosts, Sydney Timmins and the Secret Psychiatrist.
Yay! That's me.
Yay! I like that. Yay, that's me. A bit unsure there. It sounds like you're like, is it me?
It's the Secret Psychiatrist.
Your secret. Shh.
I know.
Anyway, so just in case you haven't listened to the podcast before, the Secret Psychiatrist is my co-host on episodes that go in between our discussions of books. And so I'm going to ask her to give you a little introduction just in case you've not heard of her before.
Hi, everybody. Okay, that was a bit of an awkward introduction initially if you don't know who I am, so you might think I'm a bit weird. But anyway, I'm the Secret Psychiatrist. I'm a psychiatrist in London working in the NHS. You can find me on my website, www.thesecretpsychiatrist.com, and I write different things there. It might be mental health or personal things, or some things I write through a patient's eyes. You can also find me on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, and I've recently also joined Harness Magazine. But of course, you can always find me on this podcast.
Yay! I don't know why I do that every time, but
I love it.
I appreciate you coming on and talking to us about so many interesting things related to mental health and mental ill health and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm really glad that you are here with us. So today, I was hoping that we could talk about how to maintain your mental health. So everyone has a brain and we all have mental health. Well, at least I hope most people do. There may be some people out there.
Sorry.
There may be some people out there that you do question whether they have a brain or not. But I guess that's a different issue.
Yeah.
I can safely say that thanks to my MRIs, I definitely have a brain in there. It may be broken, but it's there. So this is really supporting the book that we read recently, which was A Beginner's Guide to Being Mental, an A to Z from Anxiety to Zero Given by Natasha Devon, MBE. Because she's done so much fantastic work for the mental health community. Yeah, she is really inspiring when you hear her talk and just the passion that she has about mental health. And everyone needs to spend some time thinking about their mental health and how to maintain it.
I absolutely love that. I mean, she sounds like a terrific advocate for mental health. I mean, I love the sound. I love that title as well.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah, she sounds great.
She is quite funny, I have to admit. And there are times, I think, that both myself and Becky burst out laughing and everyone's like looking at us going, why are you laughing at a book that is about mental health?
Listeners that don't know, Sydney and Becky went to a conference and she was there. Yeah. That's why they were laughing.
Exactly, because we could hear her saying these things and it's just hilarious. So I don't know where you'd like to start. So really, where do you want to go from here?
Yeah, so I mean, I think we're entering quite a special time, actually, because, you know, I always talk about this. More and more people are coming forward about their own mental health. So we recently actually spoke about how Kanye West and Mariah Carey have come out saying they're bipolar. And Einstein, Leonardo da Vinci, Thomas Edison, and Orlando Bloom, and I think Tom Cruise as well, all have dyslexia. So lots of people, actually, famous or otherwise, go through some sort of mental health, actually, or health, I always say. So it's very, very common, and it's great that more people are coming out and feel comfortable to do so. And I think that's really important. It shows that we're all comfortable now just talking about ourselves, and we shouldn't be ashamed, because why should you be? It's part of you and who you are. And we're not getting so embarrassed, and that stigma slowly, I mean, it's there, but it's slowly going down. And I've said in my first podcast with yourself that I've got dyslexia, and
me too.
I used to be really, snap. And I used to be, well, I don't know about you, but I used to be really embarrassed about it. Were you embarrassed?
Definitely. Well, yeah. I didn't find out until I was 21.
Oh,
I think
quite late.
So I hid it quite well.
Yeah. How did you find out?
Lawrence, really? So he went, there's something not right. about the way you process language. And it was mainly during my final year, and I was trying to write essays, and I was struggling because it gets harder, isn't it, when you start to get more and more through university. And he's like, this just isn't the way most people deal with writing. And so he was like, I think you need to go to the student support services. And then as a result, they sent me off to an educational psychologist, and they diagnosed dyslexia and dyspraxia. So if you ever see me in the street, I'm more than likely about to fall over, because that's just what I do. I don't know how many times people have said, you should have some more Coke with that vodka, because I've just gone splat.
Yes, I used to be really embarrassed as well. I found out much earlier than you. I think I was in primary school. I must have been about 9, and I couldn't read the time. And I hate
time.
Yeah.
I stopped wearing a watch specifically so I didn't have to tell people.
Exactly. Why can they not talk to you and say, this is the time? And so I used to find it really difficult, and I thought I was just really stupid. And I had a few teachers that weren't great, and they thought I was just stupid as well. So they never gave me any attention until I came across this one incredible teacher. I'll never forget her, and I'll always be so grateful. And she picked up my dyslexia, and because of her, my entire life changed, because I was told I wouldn't get to GCSEs, which is the British equivalent to someone who's 16 years old and gets certain qualification before going on to further qualifications before university. And I am so grateful for her, because people were saying I would have to drop out of school and be a cleaner, and I wouldn't amount to much, and really hurtful things. And I used to be bullied about it. And then when she told me I had dyslexia, I was so happy that I could put it all down to, actually, this is my dyslexia, and I just process things completely differently sometimes to how other people do. And I got the support I needed, and I'm so grateful for that. And I'm so grateful for this teacher, because I don't know.
I'm very grateful too.
I might not be talking to you. Yeah.
Because you wouldn't be here at this point.
How strange.
Talking to me about mental health, because you've become a psychiatrist. And
how odd.
Exactly. And you've done one of the most difficult degrees out there for I don't know how many years. And then you're obviously specialising in psychiatry. I think it's fantastic and shows anything is possible. Anything is possible. And
I always say that, because I also have a philosophy degree, and people think, oh, you've got dyslexia, you can't do philosophy. Well, Einstein was dyslexic. I mean, that just shows you. You can do anything. No, so I'm always an advocate. You can do anything in life. So anyway, so tips to help you, basically. So that's one thing. Don't be afraid to find out more about yourself, your diagnosis. Lots of people get afraid. So one of the biggest problems we have with our patients, they reject the idea, e.g., you've got schizophrenia, and they'll be like, no, I don't have schizophrenia. And they run away, they avoid, and they're in denial. And that is not going to help you, because things will get worse.
It's a scary diagnosis, isn't it?
It is scary.
Really? And a bit of a shock.
Yeah. I completely appreciate that. I mean, no one can imagine what any diagnosis feel like.
Yeah, it must be tough.
Be really hard. I imagine with you, I mean, were you in denial initially?
Oh, I'm still in denial.
Okay, yeah.
Particularly with my multiple sclerosis, there are times when I wish it wasn't there. And there certainly is times when I hate having borderline personality disorder, just because of the way that I react to certain things. And I hate it, and I'd rather it wasn't there.
Yeah. I mean, but yeah, of course, like, no one would want it to be there. I completely get that. But I mean, my point is, don't avoid it. I mean, there's no point avoiding the truth. Unfortunately, we've got to face it at some point. And I know it's much easier said than done.
You've got to accept.
I mean, it's easy for me to say that, but...
No, it's true, though, because otherwise I would have delayed the onset of taking any medication for anything that was a problem for me, because I was also suffering depression. And I could have not gone on to antidepressants at the time, but I did, because I was like, I've got to do something.
And did that help you?
Yes, and I still take them now. And I do contemplate whether I should come off them, but at the moment, I'm like, I'm doing okay at the moment. So I'll stick with it.
Great, I'm so glad. I mean, that's a perfect example. I mean, you got the help, and if you had avoided it, you have that insight to realising it could have been worse, actually, to a point where you didn't take medication, and you might not be in this position now. So exactly, you need to face it. You need to be prepared, prepare yourself as well, and educate yourself. I know it's terrifying, but the earlier on you get help, the easier it is. And I think it's the same thing with cancer. If you see it, spot it. It's the same with mental health. And I know it's not as easy sometimes to see it, but the signs are there. You just have to be willing to be open to it. And that's the thing. People are not so willing to accept about mental health compared to physical health, which is such a big issue. But anyway, so also talking about your feelings and emotions. I mean, you're doing it right now. I mean, whether it's through your podcast or with others, you're talking about your feelings and emotions. And that's not a sign of weakness. And you don't have to talk verbally. I mean, it can be through writing, your music, whatever it might be, but
Painting.
just expressing yourself. Painting. I'm actually going to come on to that later. I've got an excellent example to share about that.
Excellent.
And and we all do this. And whether it's talking with your friends, whether it's with your partner, even over a coffee, sometimes if you're just working out with someone, and it's just a way to organize your thoughts and your feelings and to make your head a bit clearer and your mind as well. And sometimes when you just sort of, whether you're talking about it or writing or painting your way through it, it can just suddenly create something that you thought was a mountain, a tiny little pimple and a mole. It actually becomes nothing, and you resolve the issue before it even becomes a monster. So it can really help. Being active is really important. So you don't have to be a fitness god. You don't have to be in the gym 5 times a week. Please, you don't need to do that. But doing something you like. So we've spoken about this before. If you're somebody that like, I don't know, trampolining or hula hooping. I love hula hooping. I do hula hooping to de-stress. So that's my thing. And I know you and Becky like to dance.
We do.
So you could do a dance out. That's fine. You don't even have to go outside. You can do it in your own room, on your bed, on your sofa. And if you're somebody that likes to go for a walk or gardening, I mean, these things don't cost anything as well, but they're so effective. And they're always talking about Buddhas and why they're so content in life and how do you get that mindfulness Zen. But it's paying attention to the small things that you do, whether it's going for a walk, whether it's a gentle run, whether it's praying or meditating, something that you find that really de-stresses you. Keep doing that regularly. I'd ideally do it for about 10 minutes every day. I mean, it's not long, is it? 10 minutes is nothing really. And everybody has 10 minutes. Nobody said, nobody does not have 10 minutes. So just doing it regularly, that can really help maintain your mood, keep it stable. And also it can really help you prevent falling into a relapse, just having that routine, regular creativity, activeness. And we come on to creativity as well. So you mentioned painting, and I'm really glad you mentioned that. So I used to have an incredible patient. I think I've mentioned this before. So when he felt he was relapsing, he would paint, and he was, honestly, I felt like he was Picasso. He was absolutely incredible. I don't know where the creativity came from. And he would paint and paint and paint until he knew his relapse was kind of to the end. And then when he was stable, he would sell his paintings. So he made it into a life profit as well. And he was, it's in incredible museums and not museums, art galleries in London. And so being creative, I mean, you don't have to be Picasso, but whatever you're doing, pottery, there's loads of those amazing colouring, sketching books. So I've got quite a few because I love to colour actually. And it's not just for children, adults as well. And now it's become, and now it's become accepted that adults can. Oh my gosh, I need to get my hands on that. I need to treat J.K. Rowling.
Yeah, I've got a Harry Potter one. I've got a Great British Bake Off one. Yeah, I've got all the good stuff. Oh, they're
great. Really great British ones as well.
Makes me hungry.
I love it. Oh, yeah, no, I can imagine. Oh, food, yum. We'll have to do an episode on good diet, actually.
Yeah, that'd be good.
So whether it is painting, some people sing, music, everyone listens to music, listening to something that calms you down. Even if it's in the car, you can play your own favorite music. So one of my uncles, this would stress me out, but for him, it's so soothing. He listens to math equations on a CD in the car, and he absolutely loves it. It really de-stresses him. I mean, for me,
your uncle and Lawrence would get on very well.
Oh gosh, there we go then. I mean, I couldn't find anything more intolerable, but whatever works for you, that's fine. And you also, if you're somebody that likes to go to the gym or likes to go to community classes, there's so much. The other day, I really didn't know kind of what's in the area, and I was just looking online, and anywhere you live, there'll be something in the community, sometimes in warehouses and churches, after school. There's so many incredible, diverse classes you can get in contact with. And not only that, even if you're a patient in hospital, there are so many classes. There's drama therapy, art therapy, music therapy. Sometimes you have a yoga class. There's so many different things. You just have to be open to it. And it's all there. And even if you're in the community, so you're living at home, even if you don't have mental health, contact your GP, because sometimes there's loads of free classes with the health service. And if you do have mental health, they can actually get you sometimes a free pass to the gyms or really discounted prices, like £5 for a week to go to yoga classes or something. There's so many different options. You just have to ask. There's so much. I was also going to say with social media. Now, I have to say this quite carefully. I think social media is fantastic.
It's a double-edged sword, isn't it, really?
It's a way to communicate. It is. And I'm glad you said that, because it does come with a sharp edge to it as well. I think if you're somebody that compares yourself a lot to other people, or you're in contact with others, grooming or otherwise, that really make you feel worse about yourself, persuasion, coercion, or if sometimes, especially with sort of the younger generation, they feel really bad about themselves, and it makes them spiral into a relapse of depression because they're looking at all these false images that aren't really real. I mean, social media isn't real, is it? I mean, it's just sort of like an online magazine. Yeah.
And you can put filters on and all of that kind of stuff. That's probably the worst bit, because you're like, well, is that actually real? Or is that just what we see through your filter and what you want to present?
Exactly.
You're not going to get, I don't know. I don't know if you've seen those fantastic series of photos of, there's this woman who recreates images that are put up onto media with these like skinny models, and she like does her own version, which is hilarious.
It was just hilarious, actually. Yeah. You need to have a sense of humour about these things, because it isn't real.
No, exactly.
And we spoke about this in our first podcast, actually, about stigma. I remember talking about this. But also, some people are very negative online. People you don't even know.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like, where have you come from? And, you know, it's like that game where you're hitting that sort of worm that pops out and you keep putting it back down. You kind of want to hit these people away and say, go away. But I would say, you know what? Put a limit on social media. Like, have a few minutes here and there, but time yourself. Do not get obsessive about these things. And if you can, avoid it when you're relapsing, or you feel yourself that you're getting the signs and symptoms that you're not feeling well, because you need to keep yourself in a really healthy frame of mind. And sometimes social media is not the way forward unless you're able to control what sites you're going on and not focusing on those that make you feel worse about yourself. So, I mean, you know, there are some amazing people that we have met on social media, especially on Twitter.
Yeah.
And they're so positive that we're in touch with, aren't we?
Yeah, definitely. But then you've also got, touch wood, we haven't had any negative responses as yet. However, that doesn't mean I'm not waiting for them.
Yeah.
Is that that's sad, isn't it? That I'm priming myself for negative feedback.
You're just getting ready for that.
Yeah.
But funnily enough, I've had on the Secret Psychiatrist, because I do my quotes and things, I've had I remember last year, I think before I joined this podcast, I had an individual who was quite negative, and I just thought, I'm not going to take this personally, because I mean, I'm quite resilient in that way, but obviously that can change just like with anyone. But I just thought, I'm not going to let this affect me, because you can't make everyone happy. But my point is, if you know in yourself what your limits are and you're not resilient enough, just don't go on it. You don't have to hit the button. Yeah, don't look. You don't have to. These people, end of the day, it's nice if people are positive, and that's great. It can really boost your day. But end of the day, these people you don't know, so don't let it become something important in your life, because it's not important at all.
Exactly.
So that's my social media rant gone over.
Well, it's important, I think, because Becky comes up with this as quite a big thing in schools. And also with Natasha, in her book, she has a whole section about internet and the impacts of social media and stuff, and how as a result of her putting up on Twitter that she had received an MBE, she got less likes on that than when she put up a picture of herself all dolled up, ready to go out for a night out. And you go, what?
Isn't that strange?
It's just mentality, isn't it? And she was also asked to appear on one of those TV shows that are when they go out and they find the people that have left all of those nasty comments, like the trolls, and you confront your trolls. And so she was asked to do this. And it turns out that all the people that were telling her that she was fat, ugly, depending on which situation, because she has mixed ethnicity, whether she was Jewish, whether she was black, all of those kind of things. And not one of them would participate because they're cowardly they can hide behind the screen, can't they?
That's the thing. They use it as an online bullying tool, but if you're doing that to someone online, I mean, what does it show about yourself, really?
There's got to be something else going on with them, isn't there?
Yeah, no, definitely. Oh, I'm glad she talks about this because it is such an important issue. And I think especially the way technology is going, it's definitely becoming more of an issue about online bullying and things like that. So that's watch your space, no pun intended. So eating well, let's talk about eating. So looking at what you eat and having a plan. A lot of my patients have takeaways and that's really reduced because we've looked at sort of their diet and healthier options. And people keep associating health with lots of money, but actually you end up spending much more money on takeaways than you do if you just bought fresh groceries and cook that. And you can make a much more substantial meal that's so tasty than one takeaway. So in one takeaway, you can make 3 meals of the healthy food you're making. And you can even grow the food yourself. I mean, you don't have to have a garden. There's lots of free allotments, especially those with mental health. They're all potted around. So you just need to ask, especially your GP will know, your local community, lots of churches actually have a lot of land.
And if anyone wants my garden.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Grow some veg, I say.
I've got strawberries at the moment, which is cool.
Yummy. Oh, especially for Wimbledon season coming up. That'll be great. That'll be amazing. But you can even do it in your flat if you want to. It doesn't take long either. But looking at what you eat, making sure you have 3 substantial meals in a day and making sure it's got good value as well. Avoid the fizzy drinks. I remember I had a patient and he was having almost like seizure-like symptoms. And I went top to toe looking what is causing this. And I did all investigations and it ended up being, which he never told me, but luckily somehow we found out, he had 8 energy drinks a day.
Whoa.
And I wouldn't have known that. And I was going through all the organic causes of seizures, looking at the medication, doing ECGs, thinking about doing a head scan, all these kind of things. And it was something so simple as diet and what you're eating and putting in your body. And energy drinks. I mean, absolutely. I don't know how he was alive, to be honest with you.
I would have been bouncing off the ceiling.
Absolutely. And he wasn't.
He probably wasn't he?
No, but he had done it so consistently for such a long time. It's sort of tolerant.
It was just normal. Wow.
We had to cut down, obviously, and he got much better, which was great. So just looking at simple things, what you're eating as well. And yeah, I wanted to go on to, so you can also, with mental health, if you're suffering, you can get sort of vouchers as well that help you with your groceries. So it's much cheaper for you as well. So use what's available. I mean, everything's there actually. We just never know about it. So just make the inquiries. Ask if you have a care coordinator or you have a team looking after you or your community team, your GP. Ask them and they'll tell you all these different things as well. And there's lots of different cooking sessions you can go to in the community as well as in hospital as well. And I remember working somewhere in a psychiatric hospital where the actual local, which I absolutely love this idea, the local restaurant actually had patients with mental health doing all the food cooking. And it was great. And
wow,
it was really
cool.
And I absolutely loved it. And it really got a sense of like camaraderie with team and the patients. And they were learning how to cook for themselves and be more independent. And they were learning some health tips as well, which is absolutely fantastic. And they could get a job at the end of it as well. So, I mean, it was a win-win overall and you got fed. So it was great. So it goes on to drinking well as well. So obvious things that we know, drink your 8 glasses of water a day. So I've got in a habit of every time the clock hits the hour, I drink a glass of water. And that way I know I'm getting the water I need throughout the day. And you'll be so surprised how much you need it. You don't realise, you can go on hours and you'll not feel very well. And you realise, actually, my headache is just because I haven't drank any water. And water comes out of everywhere. I mean, not just from the obvious places down below, but eyes, your skin, you're sweating, when you're talking, your mouth and your lips, they all need moisture and it comes from water. So don't ever avoid water. It's a great friend and it's everywhere.
Have you also seen those water bottles that have like the hours marked on the bottle?
Oh, I haven't seen that.
They're pretty cool. So what they've got is like different sections and you fill it up twice in a day, but it like suggests how much you need to drink each hour. And if you haven't, obviously you need to drink it, but it's kind of segmented it into different amounts. Well, the same amount, but every hour.
I absolutely love this. Where do you buy them from?
I think my friend said that was at Matalan, but I'll find a link for you and I'll also put it into the show notes so that others out there can get one as well if they so wish.
I love it. And just to go on to that, being a Mother Earth, please recycle your bottles and use that bottle again.
Yes.
Keep buying
no, it's one of those proper bottles that, it's not like a plastic bottle. It's like a proper, what you would take to school and things.
I would actually use that. So I'm definitely going to look out for that when you put the link up.
I will let you know.
Great. Yep. So avoiding caffeine regularly, just keep an eye on that. So I used to have a patient that, my word, he used to have sort of every hour, instead of the glass of water, would have a cup of coffee. So just being aware of that and maybe changing to decaf. Alcohol is never going to help with mental health. No. I mean, it doesn't help with anything really. Yeah, exactly. And we spoke about in one podcast actually your experience with alcohol and how it really didn't help you at all.
Yeah, it was not good. Don't do it.
So
if you can.
Yeah. No, don't do it. And it can interact also with your medications if you're on anything. And you have to also think if you have children and things like that. And we spoke about how some celebrities have been caught for drink driving. You've just got to be very careful. So please keep an eye on yourself. Medications, please take your medication. You spoke about how you're feeling quite well in yourself and you're thinking about stopping, but you're going to continue, which I think is a wise idea. Going to your regular meetings. And if you have a Dossett box, I think Dossett boxes are great, actually.
They are, if you remember to fill them up. I'm really bad.
Yeah, but no, they're great. But sometimes also you can get your community team just to fill it up for you all the time.
I need a community
so you don't
team.
Always have to. Yeah, exactly. So I love them because I'm really organised and I love if I could get a massive Dossett box for fruit, like put a fruit in I'd love that. I mean, maybe someone can invent that, please. That would be great. So really using that and knowing when you need to take it, because obviously you don't want to go into a relapse and you want to avoid taking excessive medication. So don't take medications if you don't need to. So people get quite addicted to sleeping tablets. Don't take them if you don't need to, because at the end of the day, you are putting your liver and your kidneys through some issues if you continuously take medications that you don't even need to. And also, if you're taking drugs or anything else, your medication doses might have to change and you might have to take more medication than you even need to. So be cautious of that as well.
And if you are, definitely tell someone, tell your doctor. You may not want to, but it's something important that you guys need to know, isn't it?
Yeah, no, definitely. Because if you don't, you might end up relapsing and something worse might happen to you. And at the end of the day, we want you to have the best life that you possibly can. And like Mariah Carey, she's got bipolar. Kanye West has just come out as well and got to be the most successful that you can possibly be. And you've got to keep yourself healthy as well. And if you need medication, then that's fine. You just need medication. And just like people who might need to take a vitamin tablet. I mean, it's just one of those things. But look after yourself and go to your appointments and talk about your medication. Yeah.
Okay, so I think we'll leave it there for today. On the next episode, we'll be talking about drugs, smoking, diet, sleep, as well as things such as the importance of a routine. If you haven't already, then please like us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. All of these links can be found on our website. We now also have merchandise available, which you can also find a link on our website, so you can get things such as t-shirts and mugs and tote bags and those kind of things. If you want to support the Mental Health Book Club podcast further, then you can become a member of Patreon by going to patreon.com/MHBC, and by contributing as little as $2 a month, you can get access to a whole range of patron benefits, including the entire episode in one go. If you have any questions, please get in contact with us. You can do so via email. So our email is hello@mentalhealthbookclub.com or via social media. Our next book will be A Tiny Piece of Something Greater by Jude Sierra, and the next episode with the Secret Psychiatrist will be about cyclothymia and how to support people living with bipolar disorder. Thank you so much for listening, and remember, it's okay not to be okay, and if you're not okay, talk. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Mental Health Book Club podcast. If you need additional help with your mental health, please contact the Samaritans on 116-123, which is a 24-hour helpline. And if you need additional information about mental health issues, please visit Mind at mind.org.uk. Our next episode will be the second half of Maintaining Your Mental Health with the Secret Psychiatrist. Our next book will be A Tiny Piece of Something Greater by Jude Sierra. If you'd like to find out more about the MHBC podcast, please visit our website, mentalhealthbookclub.com. We really hope that you enjoy this podcast, and we would like to hear what you think. Please head over to Twitter and follow us at MHBC_podcast, or head over to Facebook and follow our Facebook page, which is Mental Health Book Club. If you would like to show your support further, please share us with your family and friends and leave us a 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. We are now on Patreon. Please head over to patreon.com/MHBC to donate as little as $2 a month to the Mental Health Book Club podcast. As a result of your donation, you will get early access to some of our episodes. You will get specific episodes that are only for patrons, and you'll be eligible to be entered into free prize draws.